Good afternoon. I'm sorry I couldn't hold that one in. We were backstage, but we are here. Good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are across the globe. You are tuned into Joga Afro. My name is Mbizom Zamane, and we have another awesome show for you guys. This is Joga Afro, the show that brings you all of football from an African perspective. So African, in fact, that our internets don't seem to work quite like the rest of the world. And one of our panelists here is already frozen. Good and early, 30 seconds into the show. But I am with the gents as usual. The fellas are here with me, and we'll start with Mr. Ramuki. Mr. Ramuki, give a shout out to the folks at home.
Away, Joga Afro. We're back again. Last week we weren't here, but we are back. We had to call this guy and we had to pick this guy out of the hospital to make sure that we are back. No skipping days, but consistency. Thank you, Joga Afro.
Sure, Ramuki. And then we have my man, Chad Peterson as well. He missed a few times, but he's back with us. Chadley, what's good, brother?
Well, clearly, I'm here with the Ronaldo energy. We don't miss. We don't miss
Oh,
here.
la phenomena.
Welcome to Joga Afro. It's a turn up Tuesday. Let's get it. Let's go.
Thanks, buddy. Milton, we have our resident coder. It's good to have him back as well. He missed out on a few occasions. Milton, what's good, buddy?
Yo, Joga Afro. Welcome to the show, peeps. Uh, it's good to be back on the show, and I'm ready to go. I'm super excited today. Super excited. I've got
Nice,
energy.
nice.
Let's do this.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. And our gentleman here. Let's see if we can bring him back. There he is. Mr. Temba Maluleke. He was also absent, but he's returned again. Tembani, how are you, bro?
I'm good, brother. How are you guys doing?
All right, my man. All right. Anything you want to say
We
to
all
the
good.
fans out
Yeah.
there? Okay, just the
African Wi-Fi doing its own things. So yeah, I'll try and stay on the show as long as I can.
listen. We banter our people, but we love being African. So please, no one take offense and send emails. All right. So I also promised my Brazilian fans I would send a shout out. Boa tarde para todos meus brasileiros. Quero agradecer seu suporte aqui. Quero agradecer vocês torcendo por a gente com muito carinho. A gente sempre fala em inglês, né? Mas esse é um bom lugar de aprender a idioma se quiser. Mas muito obrigado também por vocês de estar com a gente, tá bom? Muita beijos. Alrighty, tidy. Now we're back at it. No, gentlemen, I'm very multi-talented. Don't look so shocked, all of you. Don't look so shocked. I speak many a language.
We
All right.
we know you open
know
Google
that.
Translate, but it's
We
fine.
know. We know.
I don't know. It sounded like you were swearing
Muito
at us.
beijos, brasileiros and brasileiras.
You see, I'm not the only one. Anyway, gents, thanks a lot for being here with the show, and thank you all of you guys, the viewers, for tuning in. If you're not tuned in now, you can definitely tune in later. It doesn't really matter. You can just check us out on the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, you know the deal. All right, fellas, let's get into it. Quick news roundup before we talk about the AFCON qualifiers. We round that up as well, or rather the African World Cup qualifiers, right? Want to discuss a very shady offside rule that seems to only be coming into effect now, recently, and then also do a quick CL preview. Although some of the games have started, I know Sporting is playing Besiktas, and I think Manchester City is also has already kicked off against Bruges. But in either case, we'll talk about some of the upcoming games. All right, news first. So, our great leader, Didier Drogba, is the new WHO ambassador. For those of you who are literate, WHO is the World Health Organization. Okay, so he's the goodwill ambassador for sport and health. So any reactions to that, gentlemen? What do you guys think about that? Quick
I think
reactions.
it's great. I think it's great, man. This is the man who stopped the civil war just by his presence. You know, he's an icon, an African icon, a hero, and the people love him, and he has the people's interest at heart. You could even see what he's been doing outside of football, even when he was playing. This is a man who always built hospitals and built schools. So I think his head is in the right place, and he's a perfect person to lead us into prosperity. We need these guys who played football abroad and are legends to help us steer us into the right direction, because they've been there and they've done it.
Absolutely, yeah. He has a great track record, right, of participation in campaigns off the pitch to promote healthy lifestyles, anti-malaria campaigns, HIV prevention and control. I mean, for God's sakes, the man even played in an AFCON final in AFCON with malaria. Or was it the World Cup? I can't remember. Just
It was
African things.
AFCON with malaria, the World Cup 2010 with an arm cast.
Yeah, that's our fearless leader. We need that man in such positions.
Yeah, I just
right?
don't like the organization is working for.
Yeah. Listen, that is
That's the
that is
only problem
another
I
show.
have.
That is
I mean,
another
him
show
as a
altogether. Go ahead,
guys.
Hit us.
yeah, I'm saying him as a leader, 100%. We back him all the way in Africa. The organization he's with, I'm a bit skeptical on them. Yes, I mean, if they're trying to get me to get the jab, and they're using Drogba, it's tempting.
Okay.
But no.
All
Two
right,
things.
anti-vaxxer.
Two things from my side.
Anti-vaxxer. Yeah, sure, Shadi.
Oh no, not
First thing,
anti-vaccine.
I'm waiting for Didier Drogba to run as president of Cote d'Ivoire. I will fly to Abidjan and vote myself for the man. Second
Yeah,
thing is,
go ahead, but
second thing is, if we've watched that Marseille Legends game where he scored a hat trick
scored a
like he was 20 years old, compared to Samir Nasri, who retired last year at the age of 34, looking
like a
54.
cupcake. Looks like a cupcake.
He
Then
looks like he
Didier
swallowed the old
Drogba
version of
definitely.
himself.
He swallowed Manchester City Nasri. He just chowed the guy, bro.
He swallowed Highbury on his way out.
Guys,
Okay,
I told you,
let's stop
it's
insulting these
transitioning.
guys.
Yeah. No fat shaming in
Look.
the show, guys. We love everyone.
All right, let's keep it moving before it gets out of hand. All right, to an actually a slightly more serious issue, as a matter of fact. So, the current Uganda coach, who is the former Orlando Pirates head coach, Milutin Sredovic, you know, one of these
Micho.
bitches, these
Micho,
bitches guys. Okay, so this chap has been convicted of 2 counts of sexual assault in the Port Elizabeth, newly known as Gqeberha, regional court in South Africa. Right.
Yeah.
So his sentence is 3 years imprisonment, but it's been suspended. Right, suspended sentence.
Yeah.
I think they want to try and appeal, or whatever the case might be. But that's the deal. So I'm not sure if everyone is aware what he did, but a quick reminder of what he did. So there's this 39-year-old woman who was delivering some coffee to him at the stadium or something like that, hotel. I can't remember.
At the hotel.
At the hotel.
At the hotel.
Yeah. Okay. So she says, "Do you want sugar?" And he says, "No, I don't want sugar, but I need another type of sugar." And then points to her private parts. She complains to her boss, who then warns this chap not to do that again. Later on in the same day, the same lady went to deliver coffee again. And the gentleman, or this guy, I shouldn't call him a gentleman, savage. This savage then touches her private parts in an inappropriate manner. So the guy has a suspended sentence. And what's crazy is that Uganda has hired the guy again. What's maddening to me is that this guy has gotten another job soon after this incident in Uganda. What are your reactions to this, gents?
Wait, what I got was that it happened at the Kasafa Cup. while coaching Uganda at the Cosafa Cup.
Uh-uh.
Wasn't it
No.
that?
Look, what
My
happened
news.
with this guy, he was at Pirates, right? But this also, when the story broke, it's about the same time when he left Pirates and went to Zamalek. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Went, left
Yeah, I
the
mean,
country, yeah. Went to Zamalek, from
was-
Zamalek, fired, obviously, and then he went to Zambia and then back to Uganda.
Oh,
that's
I
that's
see.
yes,
understood.
yes. Actually, Temba's right because there was a
Yeah.
story that that's exactly what he was running away from.
Yeah.
When the story broke out, he
Ooh.
fled the country
Ooh.
immediately.
So he can escape our legal system. Wow. Anyway, Uganda put out a statement saying that he's still in a job.
So they haven't fired him.
They haven't fired him. All Uganda said was that he took a couple days leave to sort out a personal matter. And that's all that they say. They know what happened, but that's what they're maintaining. So he still has a job.
Look, Chad, you need to also look at Uganda, how they deal with general human rights situations. You know, with I think Museveni is the president there, how they deal in general with human rights issues, then you can't be too shocked that they've taken this posture. You get it? Because of how they do general human rights in their country. I'm not too shocked, even at the sentence. Because probably legally it might not be as severe or as hectic as it might have been rape, maybe hence why he got in a suspended sentence. But it's still a sexual assault conviction, which is still kind of heavy, and
Hmm.
I don't think he'll be able to come back and work in South Africa again. But in a
He's a
country
sex offender.
like Uganda, yeah, he is a sex
Yeah,
offender,
he's
definitely.
just a
So in
sex
a country
offender.
like
He's a
yeah, he is. So, but in a country like Uganda, maybe let's not name a country, right? But just say countries that don't necessarily respect human rights, or let's just say Western human rights, because in any case, then they'll give you another story about no human rights in that context might not actually be African. You get what I'm saying? But story for another day. Story for another day. Yeah.
It's
Catch me
interesting
outside.
though. These sensitive issues around sexuality and sexual harassment, because didn't the former South Africa coach, what's that Northern Irishman's name?
Stuart Backstabber.
Stuart Backstabber. Didn't he make a similarly sensitive comment, sexual comment? Was it in South Africa or was it elsewhere? What did he say?
It was in the Indian League.
In the Indian League. What did he say in the Indian League?
He spoke about, he mentioned rape.
He made a rape
Or
joke.
mentioned the R word. Yeah, he mentioned the R
Yeah,
word.
he made a rape joke.
He made a rape joke.
Look, he said
during an
Yeah,
interview.
he said, a post-match interview, and he said, looks like the only way for his team to actually get a penalty would if they start raping the other players, or if they rape the other player, the opposition player in the field. That way, then his team will be able to get a penalty, something ridiculous like that.
That
And
is an
thankfully for
absurdly inappropriate comment to make.
Exactly.
It is an absurd.
Live on
It's an
TV.
absurd comment to make, and really in any arena, but particularly in a public arena, particularly in countries like India or South Africa, where gender-based violence and issues around sexual crimes are actually quite high. I mean, the lack of sensitivity and the lack of understanding of the socio-political environment within which you are working, you are living and operating is absolutely
100%.
absurd. And I think it is generally indicative of the kinds of lack of consideration, lack of care, and lack of understanding that many of these European coaches have. Obviously, not just from a footballing standpoint, but from a cultural standpoint, right? Isn't this one of our complaints as far as it comes with foreign coaches coaching in Africa? What do you think, Ramukio, on that point? Are you with us at all, buddy?
Yeah, I'm hearing a little glimpse, but with me, the biggest issue for me is the mentality of what you think of black people. I mean, you're in Africa, you're dealing with black people. What is your mentality when you do certain things and you get away with it? If another country hires you, what do you think is going to happen next? It's going to happen there again. It's going to happen everywhere. And then somebody's going to do something stupid and they're going to say Africans are barbaric. That's going to be the biggest problem that I have.
That's what really happened with Luke Amo when he said something like that in Tanzania. Came out and said this guy's a barbarian, this guy's a monkeys or whatnot.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
when he explains it, he says in the context he was frustrated, he was angry, but that is the actual time when the real you comes out. You get that's what he actually explains himself. And at the first sight of trouble of being in Tanzania, complaining about not having DSTV, he calls people monkeys. But he still get the job somewhere else. But at the same time, this guy had a bit of a tiff also in the PSL, right? But they were able to keep it on the low and manage it and whatnot. But now CAF goes and clears him, Safa's cleared him. So if anyone actually wants to hire him in South Africa, I can actually still come back. But Chipa tried that. And when he tried that, obviously there was a huge backlash on social media from Safa and all of that. And they managed not to get the job. Yeah, he didn't get the job. But there's still people out there, club owners, administrators, who are actually willing to hire someone like that, who they know that, okay, that's his past, that's his mental state or frame of mind, what he thinks of black people in Africa, the same people that are going to pay him. So for them, it doesn't matter if they come and work in Africa, because at the end of the day, they're coming to do us a favor, but also they're just mercenaries here for a check,
Yeah, it's absolutely absurd that there were other people.
What's crazy is where's our self-worth? Where's our self-worth as a black country, as a black continent? You get a guy who's saying black people are this way. You're a black owner of a company, yet you are hiring this guy. That's ridiculous.
And also, to add on to that, do our people get that same leniency? I don't think so. I've never seen
of course not. Of course not. Not here, and definitely not there. Right? Certainly not in Europe.
Exactly.
It's funny because I've been paying attention to a few things since Patrick Vieira has become I think he's the only black manager in the Premier League right now, and one of the few. Two.
No.
Well,
yeah. Okay, let's say 2.5.
He's black.
2.5.
I got
1.5. Black.
Let's go. Okay, Chad, can I finish my point,
black?
please, buddy? Can we stop with the little things that are really less relevant than what I'm trying to say? Thanks, buddy. So at the end of the day, there's this few black managers, and few black managers have had opportunities in the Premier League. And I look at some of the comments, people saying, oh, it's great to have black managers, and black managers should have more opportunities. And I see a lot of these people on social media saying, oh, it's not about race, it's about ability, effectively saying that there's not enough good quality black coaches. Well, you know how it is, bro. But the funny thing is, both Steve Bruce, who are some of these other, Frank Lampard, and some of these other kinds of managers are getting all these opportunities, and black managers don't get opportunities. And then they say that it's a question of ability. But these white guys who demonstrate having a horrific ability, zero understanding of the game, not only are they coaches and managers, they're also pundits. I heard Jamie Carragher the other day saying that Paul Pogba doesn't have the discipline to play center midfield. So Paul Pogba, whose natural position is center midfield, who won the World Cup with France at center midfield, who made Manchester United shell out £100 million for him playing at center midfield, does not have the discipline to play in his position. So I mean, these are the kinds of, it's absolutely absurd. So the disparity in what's allowed or what's acceptable from white people in the football arena as opposed to from
it's not the coach.
No, I can tell you this, please.
Coach. Yeah.
Go ahead, Amuki.
I can definitely mention this. A black coach can say the exact same thing a white coach says, but they will believe the white person.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. Those are the balances.
And that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, it's the balance of power. Anyway, gents, let's keep it moving. We have quite a lot to deal with. Okay, no, Tembani, you want to do one last thing? Hit us before we move on.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Okay. When I said hit us, I meant tell us what you think.
God, did I get
Don't
it?
exit.
Yeah, sorry.
Tamani, one more time. Hit us.
Yeah. So South African teams have had that problem for a while now, where they're coached by a local coach. Players weren't as responsive to the coach in comparison to a plumber that comes from Europe who's never coached before, but because it's a white person who's now coaching here, cutting their teeth here because they didn't get the opportunity that side, the players themselves actually react in a different way to the coach, even though the coach might not be as knowledgeable as a black coach. That's all I just wanted to say. That even in our context, our players also. That's why I think this is a black person, it's a white person. That's our medicine. I don't know, but anyway.
No, I've actually witnessed that, and it even happens on a lingual or accent basis. I've been in situations where maybe I'm coaching with a South African coach or like me or another African coach, but because of my accent, they automatically show me more respect, or they think that what I'm saying is somehow better or superior to that or what the other guy's saying because his accent is more African, which is funny because at times, most of the time, we're saying the same damn thing. But the receiver hears, oh, okay, foreign accent has to be superior. Foreign accent has to know more, which obviously is not the case.
Has to be better.
Yeah, it has to be better. All right. So let's move on, fellas. Just a quick one now to some happy news. Well, happy for everyone except Ramuki on this panel. But Sadio Mane becomes only the third African player in history to reach 100 Premier League goals. And this, ladies and gentlemen, has been done with absolutely no penalties. Not a single penalty. So we're talking about 100 goals from open play. That, to me, is staggering. I could not believe that statistic. Moreover, Salah has tied Didier Drogba for the number of Premier League goals by an African player. Okay, so again, these chaps can't stop breaking records. What are your reactions to this, gents?
Sadio is a superstar. Superstar, left foot, right foot. If you watch the highlights, it doesn't matter. Header, dribble, one-on-one, in the box, in the air. He's the whole package. He's got everything. Long range, tap ins. It doesn't matter as long as he's in front of goal, he's gonna score. It's just incredible. Come on, like this is not just for an African player, for anyone.
Any player.
This is an incredible feat. So I think this is incredible. Ramuki, you just have to eat humble pie this time and just accept that this man is the real deal.
Absolutely.
All I know is that Drogba just scored 3 goals after his retirement. Do we add those?
We can add them.
Don't pele us.
We can add them. He says, "Don't pele us." We can add them. We can add them, but you can't add them to Premier League goals, unfortunately. Just career goals.
Listen.
He didn't bang.
Listen, this is what I'm gonna say, right? I keep watching him, and I'm not saying he's not a good player, and I've always maintained it's not about saying he's not a good player, right? Every time I think about an African, the world's best Africans, right? As much as he competes in that, I still just don't see it. I agree, he's a great player for Premiership. Great. I mean, watching him against coming out of 3 players to score the goal, that's something that not many people can do.
This is Salah,
right?
You're
But I still can't put him on my top 10.
Yeah, no, but
it's
that's
hard.
ridiculous.
Yes, I could remove Kanu.
We hear you.
But yeah.
Of course you can remove Kanu. But you know what? We're not even going to get into that. But anyway, the point is the gents are continuing to break records,
but he's top.
Right?
He's top. I'm not going to take that away.
Yeah.
I
but
can't take
also,
that away.
Another African breaking a record this past weekend. It's Patson Daka, who has now become the first Zambian to score in the Premier League. I know it's early in his career, and I know there've been other legends for Zambia, like Kalusha Bwalia, right, and other top players. But Is the boy rising up the ranks as one of the best Zambians of all time already? Am I ahead of myself in saying such a thing? Anyone?
I honestly think that he has the potential to be top three, top three Zambian players of all time.
Yeah.
What
Can we give him
surprised
time
me,
though?
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
no,
I
of
but
think
course,
let's
we can
talk.
give him
That's
time.
why he said potential, Ramuki. Let the boy
yeah.
finish.
I think he's got time to get up there with the Christopher Katongos of the world, man. I
Mm,
mean, to me, Katongo is like the Zambian legend
mm.
when it comes to my time growing up watching football. And the kid's got
Jomo Cosmos.
definitely, yeah, exactly. Kid's definitely got the talent, and I think he's gonna be one of the best players in due time. In due time.
Is Leicester the right place for him to reach those heights?
As long as they play him. I don't like the fact that like he's been on the bench or coming off the bench. Um, I mean, Vardy is Vardy, but Daka is he's versatile. You can
Yeah,
play them both
yeah,
at the same time, and he's gonna add additional speed and skill and goals,
yeah.
definitely.
So many goals.
So put your best foot forward and play him.
I agree.
Um, and then even if it doesn't score immediately, he's gonna come around. I mean, if you want him to gain experience, then you have to play him.
Yeah,
So that's the only way to do it.
yeah. Ramuki, you wanted to say something?
No, I agree with him. I just wanted to mention that he's also competing with, besides Vardy. Let's put Vardy aside for a second. He's also competing
Kelechi.
with Air Naturally.
Yeah, he's also
Yeah,
and
who's also
Kelechi
on
So
as
fire
well.
as
another
well.
He's also
Nigerian
on
boy
fire.
who's actually pretty good. So he's
Yeah,
also competing with him because we know for a fact he's not gonna remove Vardy.
you can't.
Yeah,
Well, politically
but
speaking, you can't.
yeah,
But in my opinion, I think you can make space for all three.
yeah,
I don't see a reason at all why you can't play all three of them. You can, even in a 3-4-3. Madsen hasn't produced for months now. There's no reason why he should be playing football. I like Oyoze Perez, but I still think Ian Nacho and Daka can do the same thing Oyoze can do, and are slightly more effective. Personally, I would find a way to fit them all three of them in, even if it's
Yeah,
experimentally
but
at first.
the problem with putting all three in is that who do you then replace them with who's gonna be a great impact player?
Well,
Because
Madison and
Madison is not
Oyoze.
doing well.
Madison.
Yeah,
I
but you
lost.
Sorry?
can still, but Madison is still available. He is a quality player. He's just on a bit of a dip. So the question, if he's coming off, I mean, you have to use him. If you have Madison, you use him, whether he's doing badly or not.
Mhm.
The question is how much. And if he's coming off the bench, he can absolutely be an impact player. He's good at set pieces. He comes in, maybe he scores a free kick, puts a cross into the box. And again, Ayoze Perez is the one that's been coming off the bench frequently to try and change games, and he has done that. So those two kinds of players are the kinds of players that come off the bench and affect. Ademola Lukman is also there. He can come off the bench and make an impact. Those guys are stacked offensively, and they're not using any of these chaps. Like
It's
it's
the
absurd.
coach. It's the coach. I think
Yeah,
he's lacking in a bit of creativity. Like you're saying, in terms of how does he actually bring all those players on at the same time, play them? How does he play them? And obviously he has players that he trusts that did well for him previously, and then now he's probably faced a situation where he actually has to put one of his boys on the bench and actually play the
Yeah,
guys that can actually play right now. You
yeah,
know, but Patson, I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried. It's only the ninth game of the season, if I'm not mistaken. I think by the time we hit 15 games,
he'll
Brandon
have
Rogers
more
that
time.
there's no chance. He has to play the
Yeah,
ball. He
yeah,
has to
yeah,
play the ball. But like Ramuki was saying, Iniacho's been in a serious great form for a while now,
yeah.
actually.
For a while, yeah, for like a
Yeah, for a
year
while
now.
now. He's been
Yeah,
banging for a while.
yeah,
So he's a
yeah,
bit undroppable. But like you said, a player like Madison hasn't been performing. I think especially since those Arsenal rumors started and all of that, I think that might have gotten into his head a bit,
yeah, yeah.
a bit. But Iniacho
Smart.
definitely is one player that he can't drop. But I'm not too worried about Patson. With now at least he's gotten off the
Yeah, it's
mark.
off the mark. Yeah,
So obviously the confidence he
yeah,
maybe plays Carabao Cup. Definitely is
yeah,
going to get a couple of
yeah,
goals there gonna work in
huge boost for Zambia, even on the national team level, right? Huge boost
Yeah.
for the nation as a whole.
Yeah.
When a player does breaks these kinds of records, it definitely
Yeah.
opens doors to for other Zambian players as
Sure.
well. Maybe
Yeah.
not just in the Premier League, but across Europe. Gents, let's
Across.
keep it moving. We still have a lot to talk about, and we get into things a little bit much. I want to talk about that liar. There's a liar in Colorado. There's a liar in Colorado. There's a boy
In
by
South
the
Park.
name of Alex K. Axel, excuse me. There's a boy called Axel K. Okay, an Ivorian boy born in Ivory Coast, moved to America. They say when he was young. I don't know why they say when he was young, because allegedly he's 13 years old and he became the youngest ever player to make a professional appearance in American team sports across the board, any sport. Okay, he came on as a second half substitute for the Real Marnox, which is the UCL championship team, at 13 years old, 9 months and 9 days old. I really wanted to pull up the picture for you guys. Okay, his name is Axel K, because there is no way this boy is 13. Forgive me. Forgive me. Gents, what are your thoughts? You guys have seen the image. You know the boy. You know the team. What do you guys think?
African
The team
age.
must respect itself. The team must respect itself and must also respect us. That's all I'm gonna say. Respect yourself and respect the fans of the game.
He moved when he was young.
That's what they say. They say he moved when he was young. You don't
Where
talk
is
like
that?
that about someone who's 13. How young?
Where is
How
that
young?
clinic? Where is that clinic where he was born? Let's get these records and let's get the doctored ones and the original ones. Please. We want to check watermarks. We want to check coats of arms. We want to check the papers which were used. Please. There's no way. Ain't no way, boy.
Right. It's funny. It reminds me of a
Listen.
story. Do you guys remember Ajamang Badu? Right, Ghanaian player, superstar, plays for Udinese, was a top quality player in Europe. But Badu, it was found out sometime later in his career that the hospital that he was born in had actually been destroyed 3 years before he was born, allegedly. So no, look,
What, the one that burned down?
Something like that. It burnt down, but somehow he managed to be born in it afterwards. But listen, I don't like to do this with Africans. But gents, if I could have only brought that picture, this boy cannot be 13. I get it. There is the study of genetics and so on and so forth, and African players do tend to physically mature faster than European players and South American players. This is scientific, we know. But come on. The kid looks like he's been married and divorced. He's paying alimony. In fact, the reason he went to America is because he's running away from paying child support and alimony there in Abidjan, because there's absolutely no way.
Damages.
But on the record, he is 13. So let's assume he actually is 13. What kind of future does this kid have ahead of him?
He's got 5 years of pro football in him.
In 2 years.
Yeah, his knees are gonna cave in the next 2 years. Exactly.
He's gonna be.
No, man, listen. Let's say if everything is true. Let's say everything it is true. Let's say he is a 13-year-old that is top class, got great genetics, and he's quality, right? He's probably gonna have the longest career ever.
Yeah.
At 13 years old, playing professional, retiring at 35, 36. Oh my gosh.
He'll retire at 27.
I can't
Yeah,
imagine.
and he looks like a strong boy, maybe withstand some injuries. He looks like he could have a
He's
long
got a great
career.
physiology.
Yeah. It could just be genes. Could just be genes. All right, gents. Let's move on. That was just a short tidbit. It's not the focus of our show. Let's keep moving.
Yeah.
Now I want to talk about the AFCON qualifiers. Just a quick overview before we get into this weird offside rule about the African World Cup qualifiers. Okay, in Group A, Algeria with 2 huge wins. Okay, topping Group A again. 4 out of 4. What do we think of the Algerians, gents?
Aren't they like on a 30-match unbeaten streak? Something like that. I haven't lost like 30.
Something
Yeah.
absurd. And they
Yeah.
they are banging goals. It's not
Yeah.
like they're just winning 1-0. They won 6-1 and 4-0
Yeah.
this past break.
Look, solid team, local coach, young coach, who's actually played football, played for the national team, so he probably understands the culture. He understands the thinking of those guys that are actually Algerian, because they've got a couple of superstars playing in France, your Myers, and anyway. So they've got a couple of great players spread across. But I think the coach is the most important person in this Algerian team because of the type of mentality he has. There's one player I actually read about, I just forgot what his name is. He chose to focus on his club career, right?
Yes,
and
I remember.
until he saw that actually, no, the team is doing well. Now he wants to come back, and the coach is like, no. In some case, some coaches would have said, okay, maybe you can come back. But that guy's like, no, you said no. It's okay. Focus on your club career. We'll work with what we have. And that guy, I think, is doing a very, very great job with the team. One team, I think, might actually last 5 years. I've got a team that might last actually about for 5 years, so about 2 AFCONs and maybe 2 World Cups, including Qatar. They've got something solid to work with here.
Yeah, absolutely. Another shout for why African coaches should be coaching African teams, right? Another fantastic example. Because the other example, again, is Senegal. Okay, Senegal beat Namibia twice, top of Group H. Perfect again, 4 from 4, 12 points, leading, coached by Aliou Cisse, Senegal legend, right? We took them to the World Cup, beating France in that 2002, 2002. So another, Senegal as well. How do they look, gents?
Dynamic, powerful, strong. I mean, you've got one of the best African players in the team as well in there. So looks good. And I think it can only get better because I think there's one of the teams I think we've discussed earlier in the year. Earlier in the year when we said, listen, if Africa is the best time for an African country to actually win the World Cup, and one of them is Senegal, who has a higher chance of doing that if it were to be possible. Mm-hmm. So I think so far they're looking good.
Absolutely. Just quick shout out to all the folks that have joined us today, whether you're watching this live or you're watching pre-recorded. Thank you so much for being with us. Mr. Mutiba Lamola says Algeria is the shining light of African football right now. Mara, it's Mzansi's year this year. Listen, I know where this hope gets South Africans, but let's keep going with that because South Africa is actually topping Group G. Right, beat Ethiopia twice, and they're ahead of even African giants Ghana, who also beat Zim twice. South Africa on 10 points, Ghana on 9 points. How's that looking there, gents?
It's gonna go to the wire, mate. It's gonna go to the wire. That one going to the wire. I'll tell you why. Right, Ghana is gonna beat Ethiopia. I don't see an upset happening there, and I don't see us the way we're playing losing to Zim. We can draw. I think we can. Zim can give us a draw here, but I don't see us losing to Zim. But that game against Ghana, that's going to be the crucial one. It's going to go down to the wire. It's going to go down to the last day, and we away. So we need to beat Zim. Pray Ethiopia does the things there in Addis Ababa, and then the trap take Ghana's, and then we're good. But if nothing happens, no black magic happens, and Ethiopia wins, gents. Gonna be tough. Gonna get tough.
Black magic versus black magic.
Who's powerful? Who's powerful?
Yeah, who's the stronger one?
Yeah.
So you guys are hopeful.
Ric Flair just go. Whoa!
Listen, I'm hopeful to top the group, but I am
Yeah.
not hopeful to win the playoffs.
Yeah,
If we top the group, we win in the playoffs. If we top
Sorry?
the group, are we trapping anyone in the playoffs? Give us Egypt.
No,
Senegal,
no. Wait,
No,
wait, I beg.
We're being too
Please,
ambitious
I
now.
beg.
If
I
we
beg.
top the group, Mbizo.
Please, I beg. That Tanzania group, let
Playoffs.
that Tanzania group winner play Bafana if we top this group. That's the only way we're going to this World Cup.
Speaking of which, that Tanzania group is actually extremely tight. You have TZ and Benin, who are top, both of them sharing 7 points each, and then you have DRC on 5 points. Does Bafana really want to face any of those teams in that group? Tanzania can play.
Look, they all can play,
No.
but those are the teams that will have a better chance in comparison to the other guys. Because if you get Algeria, we're catching the hands. Senegal, we're catching the hands.
Tunisia tops Group B, beating Mauritania 3-0.
We
Niger,
can take Tunisia.
Can we take Tunisia? This
We
is
can.
South Africa. Okay.
I don't want to get
Yes, we
spanked.
can.
I don't want to
Wabi?
get spanked.
This is the hope that kills.
No.
This is the hope that kills.
This is the hope that
Wabi
you know,
Kazri?
Guys,
You
we
know
get
that-
out of the group. We are not going past playoffs.
No way.
Listen, they've done well. This is far better than what they've done ever. They
So
have
you're
done
saying-
well. It's fine.
Yamuki,
Let's
you're
accept it.
saying that we need to be pleased. We need to be pleased with what they've achieved, but not get too hopeful of much more than what has been accomplished.
Listen, we can top the group, but let's be happy that they top the group.
So your answer is yes.
Don't now think of special treatment and expect special things here. It's not gonna happen.
Okay,
It's
gents,
not, but especially
don't get emotional. I know Bafana stresses everybody out, but let's not get emotional. Let's try and be
no, but
objective.
especially because I
My
looked
leader-
at the last game against Ethiopia. Right?
Yeah,
The last game against Ethiopia, the way they defended the second half, I told myself, listen, if they did that against Ghana, we're punished.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Catching hands.
If they do that
Fair
against
enough.
Tunisia, we're punished. We're getting
Yeah,
spanked.
Tunisia will kill us. And the other difference is
uh-uh.
the disparity in mentality, right? Even when South Africa plays against maybe lesser technically gifted teams or lesser tactically gifted teams, there's always a disparity in the mentality. These other teams tend to demonstrate more hunger, more drive, they're more combative. They're prepared to leave it all on the pitch. South Africans, we tend to have a weak
100%.
mentality, particularly when it comes to do or die games.
You
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
the thing is, now,
And that's playoffs.
with this current coach and the current crop of players, these are young kids, hungry kids. Those kids are playing for Skukune, TS Galaxy.
Immature kids.
Yeah, these are practically unknowns, right, at an international level. Outside of your Mahopas who went to the Olympics, your Mokwena. But even those players, right, they've demonstrated that they can make it at that level, but they have that hunger to, and the coach is gotten in their heads. Do you get it? This guy's an elder statesman. He doesn't inspire of anyone, doesn't really care about anyone or anything. That's why he says what he says, because he's got to die. All people have that privilege to be able to say whatever they want to say. And I think with how he treats the players, they do understand that they're actually here on merit, but here you have to keep your standard or increase your standard, because if you don't, if someone else comes in and a younger player even if he's playing for cheaper, but if he's doing well, he's going to come and play. And if those players, I think they will be the key outside of the established guys who don't have that hunger, like you said, Bizo, who don't have that fight to leave everything on the field. But those kids know it's that game that's going to take you to Europe or take you to Slovakia or take you to Chiefs and Pirates. If you're playing at that level,
So we have a slightly different mentality than we've had in the past. No, I'm not going to let you, Ramuki. We're going to move on, because if we're going to spend too much time,
done.
Go, do it quickly.
Okay, that's why I'm saying we should be happy that we win the group stages, because those kids are immature, but they've got the hunger. But the hunger is not only going to get you to the play to win the World Cup, but we should be happy that they're outside the group, because their predecessors could never do it.
No, man, I'm with you. I agree with you 100%.
Listen, guys. I'm having a great day and a great week. I don't need to continue to talk about Bafana because they give me stress. They give me high blood pressure. So let's move on and quickly touch on some of the other group leaders. Niger is topping the group despite losing at home to Central African Republic. Lord knows Nigerians are not happy about that. Ivory Coast beat Malawi twice. Cameroon beat Mozambique twice, and that group is quite tight. Ivory Coast tops 10 groups. Cameroon at 9 points. That one coming down to the wire as well, gents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean these are two very, very big African nations. Cameroon historical giants, Ivory Coast recent giants.
Yeah, those are.
I think it's going to decide once they play against each other.
Yeah, they have to play the next round. They play each other. That will be the decider. Yeah.
My question is. Before I leave, who would you rather have at the World Cup, Cote d'Ivoire or Cameroon?
I'd rather have Ivory Coast.
Cameroon right now.
I'd rather have Ivory Coast.
I'd rather have both.
Look, those are two teams that you hope and expect to be there. Do you get what I'm saying?
But they're playing each other, so you decide on one. We don't need politicians, Ramuki. One of them, pick one.
I can't pick one. The one that wins is the one that's fine. Since I can't pick.
Okay, Sharp, that's fine. That's fine.
The one that wins, I'm fine.
Okay, we accept that. In other news, Mali beat Kenya twice, topped the group with 10 points. And then finally, Egypt is doing the business without Mo Salah. Am I correct? Doing the business, beating Libya twice, topping their group as well with 10 points. Morocco beat both of the Guineas. That's Equatorial and regular Guinea. They are 4 for 4 in their group as well. They top it. So all the giants of African football are pretty much doing the work except DRC.
Giants.
Well done, Mzanzi.
It's been a while since all the giants have performed to expectation. So that's a delight. Folks, if you're just joining us from home, thank you so much for being with us. This is Joga Afro, bringing you all of African football, all of world football from an African perspective. We were just rounding up the African qualifiers for the World Cup. Let's see what some of our folks have to say at home. I'd love to see SA in the World Cup. I think it'd be good for football in Africa as a whole. Might help bring in more West African players to the PSL. That's a very good point. South Africa is one of the premier leagues on the continent, and definitely us getting back to being one of the top international teams will certainly do us a lot of good domestically. Yeah, you guys agree with that comment there?
Yeah,
all right.
100%.
All right, I know that unfortunately Chad Peterson has to leave us, but Chadley, thank you so much for joining us, buddy. Good luck with whatever it is you have to do. Behave.
I always do. I always do.
Right.
Have a good one, gents. Ladies and
On a
gents.
Tuesday.
Sure, boyo. Take care. Talk to you later. Sharp. All right, gents. Let's keep it moving. By the way, have we lost Milton? Is Milton there? Milton, are you there?
I'm still here. My network is a bit shady, but I'm still here.
That's okay. We know those township networks. That's fine, buddy, because you're going to want to get in on this one. I'm glad that you're here. Can we please have a discussion about this offside rule? Okay. So here's the offside rule, okay, that has allegedly been in play since 2013, but I'm unclear about why it hasn't been enforced until recently. So the rule is, if a player is offside, right? So I make a run, the ball gets played into me, and I was offside. However, the defender makes a deliberate attempt to clear the ball, and in so doing touches it, but it still gets to me. I am no longer offside on the basis that this player deliberately went for the ball, touches it, and I then get on the end of the ball. Okay, it's considered a new play. The problem with this, and this has been my argument, and this has also been Ramuki's argument, is that the only reason that this player, this defending player, has gone for the ball to touch it is because I have posed a threat. I, the offside player, has posed a threat by running in behind, and so he has tried to clear the ball. Even though he's touched it, it's gotten to me. The only reason that this play is occurring is because of the offside player. But they are saying that this player is now onside. Great. Horrible rule. But the issue is that I'm almost positive that in the last couple of years, this has been called offsides. It's happened numerous occasions, and they have called this player offside. However, in the last couple of maybe weeks, maybe a month or two, I'm seeing this now called onside. But this is my first time seeing it. They are claiming that this rule has been in play since 2013. But I'm only seeing it being put into practice recently. Ramuki, I know you're rearing to go on this issue. So tell us, what are your thoughts?
Listen, again, like we had this conversation before, and I find it weird that a rule that has not changed has changed. That's the weird thing to me. A rule that has not changed has changed. So, for example, if a guy's in an offside position, I have a shot. For example, Mbizo's in an offside position who makes a run. I have a shot. The keeper deliberately saves it, drops back at Mbizo. Is that offside?
It should be offside.
It's not. The fact that the keeper actually attempted to go for the ball means it's a new play.
That's what the rule says, right? This is what the rule.
That's what the rule says.
Claims. Right, which is absurd because by virtue of him blocking this ball and then it coming to me, I was in an advantage because I was in an offside position.
100%. That's how I saw it. The same way with the goal with what's his name? It was a recent game that just played
over the weekend in the Prem.
Watford and Liverpool. Where Watford and Liverpool, keeper what's this defender cuts off the ball and then it deflects to the keeper. Keeper saves it. A guy in an offside position who has the advantage from being in that position, but we know that being in an offside position is not a foul. But being in an advantage position rules you or deems you offside for the past I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden is onside.
Yeah.
So now my problem here comes in here. In Africa, we're already having issues with referees. It's a new rule. That's an old rule. What's going to happen in Europe and what's going to happen in Africa is going to be two different rules.
Yeah.
It's going to be two different rules. And you know where this all started for me? It started here when they said the guy has to attempt to go to the ball first before, and he has to touch it in order for it to be an offside. I think that's where it started. Because my idea is this, and I could be wrong, and please correct me. The fact that I make a run and the ball is being played to the direction I'm making the run at, for the defender to cut the ball, makes me a part of that play.
Absolutely. You are affecting play by virtue of the fact that
you are affecting my decision to cut the ball.
Yes, because if you are not making that run, why is it I should
I'm not
worry
making
about that? I'm not going to worry about it as the defender, right? It's either going to go to the goalkeeper or I will be able to deal with it without duress. Therefore, my decisions will be different. How I choose to deal with the play will be different, right?
And here's the wording that's so funny. The wording from them is, if he infringes you by going to the ball, deems offside. By cutting you off or while you're trying to attempt to play the ball, is offside. But they never say that man making that run and the ball going to the direction of the person making the run who's in the offside position is also affecting play, and in fact is also impedes your decision to actually whether leave the ball or actually stop it properly.
Right.
Now you're playing in a panic.
Tembani, what are your opinions on this rule?
It's a hard one. Well, it's not a hard one because it doesn't make sense, right? Like, I think I see one comment show. It says, I mean, it's been applied before with the goalkeeper saving the ball, but now the way you guys are unpacking it, it really doesn't make sense because you're not gonna go and try and attack the ball or clear the ball if the guy is not affecting play, But it's Arsene Wenger. I think it's Arsene Wenger. That's what I'm gonna say. I blame it on Arsene Wenger. They really, I don't think even with how Ramuki said about how it will be applied, especially in Europe and in Africa. For them, it might be easier to look at and whatnot and revert and VAR it, whatnot, if they have to, because they have that type of tech. Our situation, we don't have, we don't even have goal line technology, so we're still a couple years behind in that nature.
Yeah.
We'll see more.
I still would prefer that over the VAR.
Yeah, true. I think we'll see more fan violence because of that rule if it's applied in that nature in Africa. Because even now already, there was a game this weekend.
They are mooring refs in Africa.
They're mooring refs.
They are beating up these people, bro. They are beating up these people.
And it's not like it's been explained, or the people were taken into a workshop, or they educate the fans on how they're going to implement the rule. They just did it and it happened. But it's always
Law 11 offside course.
Super Sport has it on TV, so we know what's going on. That didn't happen. Now it's applied in a game in DRC. Best believe, bro, they're gonna move the referee.
Yeah, they're going to move the ref.
That's my biggest worry about this rule is the safety of the ref.
The safety of the refs. Yeah. Milton, what's your opinion on this rule, buddy?
I think it's ridiculous because you can effectively cheat. Given this rule, because a player can purposefully be offside and wait for his teammate. They could plan this out, wait for his teammate to ping the ball at the keeper, and just in the hopes that he parries it out and he can score. And he puts the defenders at a disadvantage, because then how are they going to play the offside rule, knowing that even if this guy is offside, he'll still get a chance to score if the keeper doesn't grab onto the ball. So it makes it difficult for them to kind of gauge what to do in a situation where a player is just straying offside.
That's precisely right. In my opinion, it's the person that's prejudiced the most here is the defender. Because now, as the defender, you say, okay, this player's offside. Let me leave him, right? And then you leave him, the ball goes through, VAR turns out he's not offside. Goal, okay? That messes you up. But alternatively, if you say, okay, I'm not sure if he's offside or not, let me clear this ball. You try to clear the ball, but you don't manage to clear it. Now the player's onside. So maybe if you had left it, the guy would have been offside. But you've tried to clear it, you've touched it, and now he's onside. So the defender is now saying, should I clear it? Should I not? Should I clear it? Should I not? So the defender
don't miss.
That's the problem now. It puts pressure on the defender to be absolutely perfect when he clears this ball. Dumisani, thank you so much for your comment here. It says that rule has always been there, but it mostly applied to a goalkeeper saving a ball. Dumisani, it turns out that it's been a rule since 2013. Okay, this alleged rule that we're discussing here. But again, in my opinion,
right now.
Yeah, in my opinion, I have watched football games where a guy has made a run from an offside position in the last 8-9 years. A guy's made a run, offside position, the ball is played, the defender messes up, touches the ball, it goes to the striker, and they call it offside. I have seen it. I'm not making this up. I have seen it. But now all of a sudden, they're no longer calling that offside. They're now saying, no, the player's onside, the goal stands. And I think maybe it has something to do with VAR. Go ahead.
Yes.
I was gonna say, the way I understood it was that if the defender is purposefully passing the ball back to the keeper and then the striker intercepts it, then it's not offside.
Yeah, this one we accept.
But if it touches him accidentally, I mean that's something else.
Well, but you see,
the fact that even if it doesn't touch him, but he attempts to play the ball, interferes with play, makes it even worse.
This is the problem with the language, is that they're saying that the defender deliberately attempted. That's the language that they're using. I mean, who the hell accidentally attempts? When you attempt, it's deliberate. I'm making an attempt. Obviously, it's deliberate. So it's absurd. It's almost as if they thought that would somehow make a terrible rule good. If I say deliberately attempts, it's absolutely absurd. And it's again. Go on.
Yeah, I think there was an incident. I think it was a Tottenham game I think it was a City and Tottenham game where a player was in an offside position and the ball bounced, and because he was in an offside position, and he was coming back, I think it was a City player who then controlled it and then wanted to, but because the guy was offside and he controlled it, and the guy was offside, and then he won the ball from him and then scored. And then the guy said, but he's supposed to be offside. And the comment, I remember one of the refs, the ball guy in the Premiership said, because he actually controlled it, like it was in his full control, he may open a new play. That made sense to me when he explained it like that.
Okay, yeah, that
But
one.
when you
because
talk
he was in
about
full
accidental,
control.
deliberate,
Yeah.
yes,
Something in the
right,
air,
that
scratch
makes
your
sense.
head.
Yeah.
But when it scrapes your head, it touches maybe your shoulder or your leg. It
Yeah.
can't be new play.
Right.
Because
What
it's
if?
like
What
saying
if?
a deflection off target
Yes.
that goes in the back of the goal. Why did they give it to the on goal? Why do they make it as an on goal?
And not
Because your goal is off target.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Do you understand? Because your
issue
goal is off target, it can't be your goal. It has to be an OG. But if it's
Yeah.
on target, but it's a deflection, it's still your goal.
Yeah. It was going inside anyway.
Yeah.
So even that in has to change.
Mookie is stressed about this rule. Milton, tell us what you were trying to say there, buddy. Go ahead, hit us. His window of opportunity has gone. Internet has shut it down. Okay, so yeah, so gentlemen, that's essentially my complaint about this rule, is that it's allowing players who have an advantage, who are affecting play, to not be affecting play simply because of the wording of the rule. And the way the referees have interpreted it, the way the referees have allowed it to be onside, they cannot be at fault because that is the rule. So the referees are actually following the rule. The issue here isn't the referee.
No.
The issue here is the rule. The issue here is the
No.
rule. It needs to be reworded.
Wait. I agree, but don't agree. Because here's my thing. It's from 2013. What the hell have these refs been doing this all this time?
Yeah, but this is what I'm trying to say, is that it obviously must be some kind of mandate from FIFA or UEFA or someone saying, look, guys, we haven't been following this rule properly. Let's follow
Arsene
it.
Wenger. It's Arsene Wenger. All these things are happening.
When you say it like that, it makes sense. But when I look at it in terms of the decisions they've made for the past month and a half, and compared to the past 7 years, those are two different rules.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And this is why we're having a discussion, because we're not sure why all of a sudden this
What's
rule is
going
not being followed. But now it's being followed. And it's a poor rule.
Yeah.
It's made football worse. It's a terrible rule. Milton,
Think
you wanted
about-
to say something?
Oh yeah, I wanted to say, think about the space between the defender and the goalkeepers now. In a situation where the other team decides we're going to ping the ball towards the last defender. If he tries to head that ball and he misses, and the player's offside, then he's in. He's in at goal.
Go.
Exactly.
Unless the keeper tries to close that gap, which opens up space behind him, and the goal's wide open. So now it's a dilemma between the defender, whether they step all the way back and give the midfielder space, the opposing midfielder space to collect the ball, and not be able to compete aerially because they're afraid if the ball actually goes past them, then it's tickets. So now it's like you were saying, you have to be precise with everything. Like you have to be really, 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 really on point with every decision, every attempt at ball. You must be 100%. You must be 100% sure that you're going to make it.
Yeah, as a defender. As a defender,
Yeah.
You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's that essential
Yeah.
situation now, and that's really, really unfair duress on the defending player. I know football is we're supposed to espouse goals, and our rules are supposed to encourage football that has goals. But at this rate, it seems like an unfair advantage to the attacking player now, because now the defender again doesn't know if I should clear it, should I leave it? If I attempt to clear and I mess up, goal. If I don't clear it and I leave it because it's offside, what happens if it's not offside? There's VAR ready and waiting for you to ruin your day. So it's a terrible rule, and I think it needs to be sorted one way or another. And for me, it's the written rule that needs to be changed. The written rule needs to be changed to be clearer about the offside player actually affecting play, even though the ball doesn't come to him, even if it's touched by the defender, under any circumstance where that's the direction that I've played it to, the offside player, he's affecting play. So I think that the rules need to reflect that.
Agreed.
All right. Okay, gentlemen, I think this is where we're going to end the show for today. Fellas, thank you so much for your input. All the folks at home who were able to tune in to the show. We even have some Brazilian folks doing their best to understand this very sophisticated African English that we have going on here. Evelyn Santos from Sao Paulo says, Valeu, pessoal. Até semana que vem. That just means sharp, gents. Until next week. Muito obrigado, Evelyn.
Thank you, Evelyn.
Really appreciate it. How Chadley had to go, but he hit us with one more message to say there's no need to overcomplicate this rule. How should we teach our kids? Chadley's worried about the future. One last comment here from Dumisani. That period of being hesitant is what will make the game more interesting. Okay. So
and chaotic.
No, it's gonna make us lose our jobs, bruh. What's this?
This is the coach talking.
That's how we lose our jobs.
This is the coach talking to Misani. The man is just stressed about his job. Don't take it personally, brother.
His livelihood.
His livelihood is at stake now. His livelihood is at stake. Gentlemen, one last shout out to the fans at home. Ramuki, we'll start with you.
Guys, thank you again for watching the show. Thank you for your support. Again, see you guys next week, same time, same place.
You know what it is. Milton, you want to give one last shout out to the folks at home? Okay. Temba, does your internet allow you to give a shout out to the folks at home? Okay.
Oh,
Both of them decided to just exit the game before it's even time to say goodbye. Oh no, wait a minute. One of them has returned. Temba, all right, great.
Yeah, coach, put me in.
Give a shout out to the folks at home, Tembani.
Yo, no, thanks for the support. Always interesting with the comments and stuff, but I think without the fans, I'm not saying we're celebrities, but without the support and the people, then there's no fun in it, But yeah, shout out, thanks for everyone for tuning in. Same time, same place next week. Like, subscribe, like, and subscribe some more.
You know the deal. Our another internet convict has returned. Milton, give a last shout out to the folks at home, brother.
Hey man, I live in the Bundus. The connection is not that great. You know what it is, man. Africa. But yo, thanks for everyone's time. Thanks for participating in the show. Saw a lot of comments today. That was awesome. And thank you guys for being awesome pundits to co-host the show with.
Yeah, absolutely. Dumisani says, sorry, coach. I think Ramuki, that's directed towards you. Hade boy, hade. And then on goal, Liberia, who's
so good
here supporting us, says, great show, gents. Again, thank you so much to everybody that tuned in. Motiba, on goal, Liberia, Dumisani, Evelyn Santos, Chad Peterson. Even though he abandoned us, he was always showing support, even en route. Folks, my name is Mbizo Mzamane. This is Joga Afro. Okay, we deal with everything world football, but from an African perspective. Tembani said it best. Like, subscribe, keep abreast of everything that we have coming to you. I will have, when I post this on Insta, I will have everybody's tag, everybody's thingy-majigga handle, okay, so that you can keep in touch with the gents as well. Fellas, it's always an absolute delight to have you on the show. Champions League going down right now and for the rest of the day. I had wanted to do a preview, but our conversation was a lot more interesting about this offside rule. So I really appreciate your input, folks. Thanks a lot to the guys at home. And that's it for today. Fellas, I'll see you on the flip side.
Thanks.
Uses.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace.